Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 41 of Beyond Retro. I'm Nathan Kennedy, joined today by Tyler Baker and Joe Amato. And fellas, we're talking about a film that you guys have discussed ad nauseum on your previous podcast. I'm getting a little bit of echo over here on
Sorry,
my end.
it's gone. That was me. I of course, when I hooked this up, I had the volume on my computer, so that was you talking on a 5 second delay.
Man,
Damn, Joe.
oh yeah, almost nailed that intro too. But we're talking about the live-action Masters of the Universe film, a movie that my opinion has certainly changed on over the years, and it's a film that is sort of. And Tyler's, I can feel the energy. Tyler's just getting riled up right now. I know that critics and specifically, there's a documentary on Canon Films called Electric Boogaloo, and they talk about, and they kind of make fun of it. So I know that it has those detractors, and I know that there are a lot of people that love it. Some even have it in their own wing of its own movie Hall of Fame. But how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. First, let's say hello to JSP, Eric Amon, and Nathan. I'm going to allow you to say hello to our other person that's in the chat room at this
All right, all right. So I got the message. Janish Hojing. I want to say I hope I got that as close as I could. I know there's going to be a little bit of a difference with the accent and everything, but definitely better than what we were saying last week for sure.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I was calling Giannis or something, and I couldn't say the last name to save my life. But and what's up, T-Rex? How you doing?
Anticipating being angry again today.
But I think it's going to be a combination of not only angry of just maybe how some people have viewed the film, but also it's going to be fun too because you're going to be sharing like the things we loved about the movie, obviously from childhood to growing up. But I think that's what's going to be even more interesting. And oh, by the way, Janish said you did it great. So Nathan, you said the name perfect. So you there.
Fantastic.
But no, see, it's a movie that obviously Tyler and myself has spoke of so many different times on Fans of Power and of course even on Facebook. And we've given our opinions, and at times we have other things to say. It's not like we repeat the same stuff every single time. There's still other things. But I think I was most excited about hearing it from your side, Nathan, and here's why. Because within the Masters of the Universe community, there's the people that absolutely hate the damn movie, and then there's the people that really love it, and then there's those that kind of come along and eventually learn to appreciate it for being a good movie, especially after finding out all the the budget issues and things that they were going through back in the day. People have learned to, I'm going to give it another chance because some people have just remember watching it when they were a kid, and there was either the people that loved, like I said, or hated it, and the ones that hated it, some said, I don't care, I don't ever want to watch that movie again. But these are usually from the hardcore Masters fans, and that's why I wanted to hear yours, because while I know you know Masters, and I'm sure you like it. I know you're not a hardcore nut like me and Tyler of knowing everything, like loving the cartoon, loving the toys, the comics, and that. It's not something I think you're super passionate about. So that's what I want to hear is a different opinion of somebody that when you've seen it, like picture somebody that wasn't a big Masters fan and they seen this as a sci-fi action movie. This is what we usually don't hear in the Masters community, to be honest, is, oh, we hear a doorbell.
Hang on, guys.
All right, yep. That's I don't know. That's somebody from the Masters Universe movie. It's coming to see Tyler. It's like, what do you think? You guys are live? I want to be a part of the show.
I mean, that's the beauty of us being live. We get dogs barking sometimes. We get doorbells. We get
fights outside. We get something random going on. We get
Christmas parades. Whatever.
Christmas parades, chasing the damn truck. And hey, Kevin Sharp, what's up? I see Kevin Sharp is in the chat room as well.
Oh,
but
Kevin. That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think that's the first time he's ever joined us on Beyond Retro. But no, here's the thing. Is usually in the Masters community, this is what you usually hear is people saying, I hate it that it wasn't on Eternia. I hate they didn't have Battlecat. I hate they didn't have Orko. But you know what you never really hear people talking about is, what did you think of the movie in general? Like, let's think of this. As of being a sci-fi action movie, did it have a good story? Did it have nice special effects for you if you're into that stuff? Did it have good acting? You never usually hear anybody talking about those things. They just will pick apart, this is what wasn't in it, so I don't like it. So I think that's why I want to hear from Nathan is thinking, when you've seen it, if not being a Super Masters fan, what did you just think of the movie in general? As for being a sci-fi action adventure, it has action in it, has good effects, acting. I mean, I guess that's what I want to get at. And of course, we'll expand upon it, but I think Tyler even agreed. That's not what you usually hear in the Masters community is ever talking about anything else except Eternia, Cringer, Battlecat.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, what
Or I'm sorry,
the,
Oracle. Eternia, Oracle, Battlecat. I said
well,
Cringer.
well, what they want to always dig at is just this is what they know, and this is what's missing. Of course, like that's what most people will go for. Good on you guys, especially. You know, Tyler, I know for a fact obviously watched it as a kid, and that was kind of the question I was going to pose to both of you. And I think Tyler and I touched on a little bit last week. Tyler said that that never bothered him when he saw it as a kid. Now, Joe, I imagine that you probably went and saw this in theaters, right?
I did. And yes, I am one of those people that is with a different opinion from Tyler when I was a kid. But it really, and it was never about Battlecat, Oracle, and Eternia. It was never about that. I've said the stupid story, but for those who've never heard it and are just new to hearing us talk about it from Beyond Retro, I said there was the mail-in form to be a part of the movie that you get in the store, and it had pictures of Fisto, Mossman, and Spikor. I think Spikor, but a ton of the toys, like in picture form, were on this. So I was under the assumption everybody that was being shown on this mail-in form were going to be in the movie, and they weren't. So I was like a little pissed on that. But I remember when I seen the movie, I at no point cared that Battlecat wasn't in there. I didn't care that Eternia wasn't showcased, would be in the lush, beautiful land of Eternia. And I wasn't mad that Orko wasn't there. I was a little put off with when I remember first seeing it. He-Man, had a different type of chest harness. He had a cape. The sword didn't look like the sword that I know. Skeletor was in a complete black outfit with silver with a white face. It was weird to me. But I still like the new characters. Like, there's people that pick on saying, I don't like that Gwildor. I don't like Sorod. I don't like Blade. I hated all of them and Karg. But what's funny is, you think about when you were at the store as a kid. You embraced, and especially me, but I'm sure most fans, when you went to the store and you seen new figures, like when you seen Squeeze for the first time, Blast Attack Ninja or whoever, you're like, oh my god, new stuff. So the new stuff in the movie with new characters never bugged me. But it did feel just, for me, a little off. I was like, it just didn't feel like He-Man, with the look and, maybe where, how the backgrounds. I know it was on Earth, but it's like something felt a little off.
Did you come out of it disappointed, and also like, because I imagine the theater was probably pretty packed with other kids that were also in the Masters. Did you kind of read the room? Did you get a feeling from all the other kids? Were they disappointed? Like,
well, the thing is, anytime some good action thing happened, of course there was like, oh, and then there was clapping. So it wasn't a complete, let's say crap fest where people you could hear moans, you could hear dead silence. People were still into it. But for me, I was just I was indifferent about it. I was like, okay, it's Masters. It felt like it, but it wasn't really what I was expecting. But the more I started watching it, the more I appreciated it because I realized, you know what? That was still a damn good story. You can't say that the story sucked. The acting from characters, especially when you said the character, portraying Skeletor, Frank Langella, and Meg Foster as Eva Lynn, they did fantastic jobs, as did the others. Can we nitpick acting on some people? Sure. But can you do that in almost every movie you watch? Yes, you can. But overall, the acting and feel and the whole pacing of the movie, there's nothing really to complain about. So it has really actually grown on me even more. But first impression as a kid, I was indifferent. But it grew on me. I never completely said the movie just was an abomination. It sucked and everything was horrible. It was a mixed feeling that changed. And okay. I know Tyler, though, right from the get-go, I know he had absolutely no issues with it at all. But go ahead.
No, it was a perfect film to me as a kid. Everything translated well, and that's what bothers me the most is when I've been seeing it for years. Okay, this is not something we've, as you guys have said, we've discussed this so many times. We've done interviews with the cast or some cast and people behind the scenes and things like that about the film. And it really does come off like there's just an overabundance of people that may have seen it once as a child, somewhere at a buddy's house or at a birthday party, or they did see it in theaters. And to say that elements that really don't have a major contribution to the actual story and have a major impact on the movie itself, like, all right, what if Battle Cat and Orko was in it? Or would you have hated it anyway with Battle Cat and Orko on Earth? Are people going to be, trying to find? I didn't like, I didn't like Lubick, or I didn't like Tila's hair. You just feel like, okay, so you would have gotten those things. Are you going to still complain and gripe and say that it didn't live up to a cartoon that is still, oddly enough, bashed and made fun of? But the people that are complaining are saying that we didn't have things that were in the cartoon that's made fun of and mocked and criticized for the lack of animation and the heavy use of stock animation. Yet these are all people who not. I'm not saying you have to be an expert in animation or filmmaking, but aside from like the fact that all these things that Filmation had, the lack of budget and things like that, and for this movie, I feel like everybody's missing the big picture with this movie. For me, the film has just gotten better and better as I've gotten as an adult. I mean, as a child, I would get, I'd go through so many emotions. I would get scared. I'd get excited. I would, for back a letter phrase, I'd be fist pumping. Like me and Nathan have always said, there would be so many moments I'd be so excited, nervous, tense. You just or dreading certain moments because danger's around the corner in this. And I, and as a teenager, when I would go back and rewatch it, I mean, the Skeletor stuff really got. I mean, it was just like an elephant in the room. You really appreciate just how great Frank Langella's performance is and the script that they were working on to kind of enhance the villains in the film. So you appreciate that a lot more. But everything else I thought was great too. And I look at everything else from Dolph's performance to John Cypher's Man-at-Arms and Belly Barty as Gwildor, Chelsea Fields as Tila, and all four of the Evil Warriors. Everybody did such a superb job. And I really feel like, Giannis has said last week that, because when I came out and said that people who were going to gripe and complain and say the movie stunk because Orko and Battlecat in it, I don't sympathize with you. I feel like, and granted, he said that that's how he felt as a kid. Now I don't think that's how he feels now, but I feel like when you go on any YouTube search, I don't care what it is, whether it's some douchebag who thinks he's going to become a big star, so I'm going to slam the 87 movie for 15 minutes and 28 seconds about what not to do when you make a movie, or I'm this witty YouTube guy and I'm going to review movies, so I'm going to make fun of this movie because it's a canon film. Everybody's trying to make a star out of themselves, so they're going to pick this film. That's what infuriates me even more. And they're all people that just, they're never really looking at. And I'm not going to give these people the time of day. If maybe people have watched videos of these guys who are trying to be cute and witty and funny and humorous at the expense of a movie that I hold near and dear to my heart because it's a damn good film. And I can go on, and we can talk about all. And that's another thing. People never focus on the pros of this film. It's always pointing out the smallest nitpicks and the same ones, because I feel like that makes everybody in the same circle. Everyone feels like, oh yeah, I feel the same way too. It almost feels like there's no like people are can't come up with anything else to say. Like, that's all you got of this movie that is becoming more and more universally loved and appreciated, and all this information about what happened in the making of the film. Yet every Joe Blow or average guy who gets on YouTube and comes across this. Oh, I remember I was so disappointed that Orko wasn't in it. Oh man, I was so disappointed that Ninja wasn't in it. You don't know what it just sounds so naive and very narrow-minded. As if because they all say it. They all say the same thing, or that it was campy. And I'm thinking, okay, how is it campy? What did they do? The movie maintains a serious tone throughout the whole film, from beginning to the end, with slight moments where you can kind of you chuckle, and it doesn't take you out of the film because they're maintaining a straight face and taking it very seriously. And yet, all these guys that they know best, or your fans that think that they're such connoisseurs, and like, oh, it was so stupid and silly, and the special effects were no good, and
Beastman right there. It's what you just said. I have to interrupt that because Tyler, everything you just said, it was almost like what we were talking about. They always nitpick the things of what wasn't in there when they're not talking about the story, though. It's like almost nobody says, what did you think of the actual story in the movie? And some of the acting. And it is good. It is solid, like you said. And you know what's even funnier? Is what you said about others who say, why was there no Orko or Battle Cat? And most, not all, but most of those people who say that, they can in the same exact conversation say, the special effects were terrible too. Well, here's what's funny. If you hated the special effects so much, what do you think you would have thought of if Battle Cat was in that movie? Do you think that was going to be groundbreaking for that time? Do you think they were going to make an amazing looking Battle Cat that He-Man would have got on and rode through Earth or Eternia? Wouldn't have happened. It would have probably been such a hot mess that's what they would be complaining after all these years. Damn, did Battle Cat look so fake? Or it was stop motion claymation and Orko looked like a goofy puppet. You could hear him saying it, guaranteed.
Well, I mean, you gotta. The part that people don't look at is you can easily look at as an adult now is Canon Films at this point when this film came out. This was like a last ditch effort to sort of keep their head above water. Like they're losing money, so no matter what they put out, and I mean, sorry Tyler, you can see it with Superman 4. You know, it's in the same. You know, but I loved Superman 4 as a kid. I haven't watched it in a very long time. I imagine I'll probably need to be drunk. Sorry, Tyler. But
real quick, movie, much like the He-Man live action movie. Of course, the He-Man live action movie is a work of art. I'm not blind to all the things that are completely wrong. I mean, the stuff that is wrong in Superman 4, it's right there waving right at you. You know, it's not stuff that you can kind of deny that or try to find logic. It's clearly botched, but there's enough there to where, you know what, I appreciate what they were trying to do, given that there's constant, and that's what makes me appreciate it a lot more, because you realize it's not the fault of the people that put out this film. It's people that are backing these films, and that's why I appreciate it even more. I'm sorry, go ahead. That's what I just felt like, you know, I know, because everyone likes to slam Superman for it. I just felt like
I'm not really slamming it either. I just think if I go back and watch it, then I would rather prefer to like have some drinks while I'm watching it to like enjoy it more, if that makes sense. Because you know me, like I watch bad stuff all the time, and
the stuff that would make that you would say that film was bad is the special effects, because Christopher Reeve brings it, Gene Hackman brings it, Mark Pillow is Nuclear Man, he's a badass in it. Mariel Hemingway is super hot, and she brings it. There's nothing but good acting in it. It's the special effects that just keep it from really taking off, and that's the biggest problem with that film. That, and there's a lot of holes in the film too, due to editing this and that, and just making it a super short film when you got a lot of pieces of the story missing as well too. So there's like him, and that's what makes it fascinating. Is you learn about the behind the scenes stuff, you have a better appreciation of, okay, I get why this is this way or why this is missing. But with the He-Man movie, I feel like everything's still intact. It still tells a very well told story. All the acting is great. People want to come after Dolph like as if like, I'm sorry, but He-Man's not supposed to be a, you know, what would you prefer, Daniel Day-Lewis come in and play He-Man and give like a long thespian speech? No! These are not supposed to be characters that have many layers and in-depth personality. I don't want that in my action films, and certainly not with He-Man. You know, you can have really good storytelling that brings out personality, but you don't need to have like great, you know, interpretations of the psyche, or why Skeletor thinks this way, or why Evelyn thinks this way, or why Beastman growls instead of talks. You know, people are just looking way too much, as if like, you know what, this is not what we loved as a kid. You know, it just makes me appreciate it more, because, like I said before, the simplest stories are always the best stories. That's why
you know what? As simple as that, what you said, you think of like, you know, the character of Beastman, one that's not speaking in this movie. There's movies where you've seen people in monster outfits or to growl and you know what? Even in these, those kind of movies, it just feels off and feels stupid, like they look silly. But the person who did Beastman, which you probably know his name, I don't, but what's that?
Tony Carroll.
Okay. I thought he did a great job. I mean, he was not only frightening at the scenes where he had to do what he had to do, but also even the parts of groveling before Skeletor. I mean, that's hard to convey in a monster outfit. So, I mean, it's something as simple as that. The acting was put together well. The great fight scenes, like having a fight scene with He-Man and Blade, having the laser blast, any of the other action. This movie is full of action. That's what I meant. If you're looking for a sci-fi action adventure movie, I thought they did a great job, and that's why Nathan, Tyler, and I have spoken so much on it. That's what I mean. I mean, do you think, as from being a different kind of fan, outside looking in and not a super Masters fan, do you think that those who would look at this as an action adventure, that they did a great job, or what were your thoughts on it? That's what I want to hear.
Oh, I would say if you can take yourself out of the mentality of separating it from what it's based on, then yeah, like it does. It has its cheesy moments. I can see why people would be like, all right, I think that it's cheesy.
But I want people to elaborate. Why do you think it's cheesy? Like, what in this film takes place that has people rolling their eyes or like groaning or like, oh man? Like, I honest to God cannot think of a scene that takes place where it feels like, okay, they botched that a little bit.
I wouldn't say it was bot. I guess, if they're looking at it at face value, the dialogue to them may seem a little silly. I mean, movies are subjective.
Was there something that stood out though to you, Nathan, to where you thought maybe something in the movie seemed cheesy? That's what I guess maybe me and Tyler were kind of wondering is.
All right. Yeah. So all right, we'll go ahead and we'll backtrack. The first time I watched this film, I was a kid. No recollection of really remembering watching it as a kid, but I remember having the Gwildor figure along with some of the other bits of my He-Man collection that I would either get in the store or at varying yard sales throughout probably the early 90s. Like, sort of once Turtles hit its stride with me, Masters kind of got pushed further and further back because then it was like Turtles, G.I. Joe, whatever. So I meet Tyler. We become friends. Walk into his room for the first time and see his entire collection. It's all out on display. He's got his carded figures hanging up on the wall. He's got all of his vehicle boxes out and everything. I'm just like, wow, like I all the memories kind of started flooding back a little bit because I had sold off what I had when my parents had a yard sale in like mid 90s. And I regretted it ever since. But then we just started talking about it. And, I was like, okay, yeah. He's like, you got to watch the movie again. I was like, okay. And I have to put myself back in a mentality of where I was at the time. And that's like fresh out of high school. I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to like watch movies all the time and picking this stuff out and picking this stuff. And I kind of became an elitist in a way of, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch that. So when I sat down and we watched, I don't think I watched it all the way with Tyler. I think I ended up just watching it on my own because he was like, oh, the DVD's right here. You got to buy it. I'm like, okay. And I sat and I watched it. And it was kind of, I hate to say it, but I was kind of one of those people. I was like, seems like it's missing so many elements. Not thinking, Canon's putting it out. The budget's very small. All of the shit that's going wrong that they could have done or whatever. And, I guess certain ways that dialogue is delivered, depending just the mindset that you go into things. If you go into something wanting to nitpick stuff, you're going to nitpick stuff, right? So I guess I was just sitting there like, oh, that sounded really corny. And that first time rewatching it, I'm like, why are they on Earth so much? And I'm not looking at it in a way that I needed to. So when I went back and watched it after I had matured as not only like a movie viewer, but as just a person in general watching it again, I like it a lot more. I appreciate it a lot more. The stuff on Earth doesn't bother me. It flows really well. There's It's got a good pacing. Here's an action scene, a little bit of this, another action scene. I'm totally on board with everything that you guys are saying. The one thing though is when we're getting into you're talking about Beastman and everything. He is the one character that is associated with that, and somehow out of the four of them, honestly kind of looks the worst cosmetically.
It's a different. Okay, I mean, I was.
Oh no! What's Tyler? I mean, honestly, when you compare, I mean, obviously, Blade doesn't really need much of anything. He looks awesome, but compared to everybody, it just seemed like the least amount of care was put into that costume.
I actually thought they did a good job. I thought it made him look frightening because what's the thing is, everybody except let's say Man at Arms, he's the one that looked pretty damn close to still being Man at Arms with maybe the aesthetics of the outfit and everything. But from He-Man to Skeletor, Evelyn, she was still close in a new, spookier, sexy kind of freaky way. But she still felt like Evelyn.
That's just Meg Foster's eyes, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because she does have some hypnotic eyes. But Beastman, yes, vastly different. Meaning it's not the orange kind of fur and the furry, and that cloth thing, and just his armor piece that comes over. It did have a different look, but I still like how scary the guy was. It added something different because here's the thing is when you think about the cartoon, which I love the cartoon, and Tyler and I spoke so many times about how in the first season of Masters of the Universe, the cartoon, it felt a little more serious. And of course, in a lot of the mini comics seemed a little, I don't know, maybe not as kitty down or goofy. And then we know as season 2 came along, because of parent groups, they had to yuck it up. And characters became silly, including Skeletor, which is somebody who didn't deserve that. He didn't need to be somebody that, I'm kind of laughing at Skeletor now. And Beastman, he's always getting picked on and slipping, and it's silly. Well, you didn't get that in this movie. The character of Skeletor, while looking, pretty different, that is not a character that you laughed at in the movie. That's, nobody watches say, oh my God, that's Skeletor. Oh wow, he's hilarious. Oh, he's just like the cartoon.
Well, I think kind of what people I guess kind of pinpoint on is kind of more of the human aspect, the Earth actors, your Courtney Coxes and stuff. I can see why they say things that they say. Do I agree with it? No, but I can see why that person who's watching it for whatever reason would just, I don't know. I can't make that make sense.
No, I mean, I see what you're trying to say, but no, I mean, as for the characters like Beastman, which looking still different, I love what they did because, again, I didn't feel like there was parts where I was laughing at Beastman or he seemed silly or he was getting picked on all the time. It was like, this is a frightening creature that if I was on Earth and this damn portal, let me just picture, that's what even kind of slowly made me get more and more into it was the thought of, what if these characters did pop on, on Earth? What if you're in your city and a giant portal open and you see this massive ship come out with these troopers, this guy sitting there, it's a skeleton warrior, being that's at the ship, and all these creatures and fantasy and magic. It's like, what the hell would you do if that happened on Earth? That is kind of, it's a frightening and it's intriguing, type of thing to happen. And these flying vehicles they have, which, you wouldn't have all these types of things on Earth. It just made it cooler. But characters like Beastman, I loved him. I loved that Beastman. It was a frightening new take. And
I did too. I'm just saying that it was weird that they it just felt like they didn't put the care into his makeup and look as much as they did with the other character, the other henchmen.
I'll pass to Tyler on that one because I thought it looked pretty ferocious, and I thought
it looks fine. I'm just saying compared to them, it seems like they are like, well, we ran out of money, we can't finish him or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an asshole. But Tyler's like, yep, yeah, you're an asshole. Well, I'm going to tell you why right now. Take it away, Tyler.
Tell you what, right now, Ethan's an asshole. Everybody else, the Beastman makeup. I'm like, I look at that, and as a child, Beastman was frightening as hell to me. Like when he's introduced in the lineup, and Evelyn says the Beastman, and he comes in, and the Bill Conti piece of music for him, and he just growls. I mean, the look, the ferocity in his teeth, around his eyes, and then the added bonus of like how William Stout designed him with the ponytail, and he's still got the spiked armor. The Beastman figure has got spiked armor. It's just modified a little bit. He's got a broadsword. He carries a laser pistol. you know. But I mean, for the most part, Beastman is using his hands a lot. I mean, he's using a pistol a lot, but for the most part, I mean, when he attacks He-Man, he's coming at him with brute strength. I mean, when he comes after Julie, there's that one shot, and I want to get as specific as we can with this podcast because I know we've talked about this film a lot, but I feel like there are so many moments that need to be enhanced for any of those people who think, you know, who you know, who've got their smoking jacket and their pipe and their hipster glasses and their man bun. Oh, so much better than this
Hey,
movie.
they're doing research for the Masters reboot cartoon. All right, just chill.
Yeah,
He's got his coffee. He's like, all right, I'm gonna listen to everything that this guy's saying and just do the complete opposite of that.
just to piss the one guy off who was slamming my.
If it makes you feel any better, some of the guys in the chat are kind of giving me shit about the Beastman thing too. I didn't say it was bad. I want to clarify. I didn't think that he looked bad. It just compared to the other ones, I'm just like, well, what the fuck?
Well,
like,
I mean, as a kid, I thought Karg. Well, no, I thought Karg was scary, but I used to wonder why Karg is wearing kind of like this fur cape on the back because it just kind of felt like it. As a child, it felt a little kind of out of place. But other than that, I thought Karg was scary as hell. So was Sorod, and Blade was the ultimate badass, and Beastman just scared the hell out of me. I mean, that shot when they all burst into the gym after after Beastman beats the hell out of Carl, the janitor, and they all turn and look at Julie. And Sorod has his close up, and then Beastman slowly pulls that laser pistol. That look of like, God, that guy would probably eat you alive. Just the look on his face. And I give that up to the makeup artist and Tony Carroll's performance, the way he's, and you know, and how he's directed and everything like that. I mean, there's a lot the framing that up, giving you these nice shots, just like, you know what, these are the bad guys, but you ought to be scared of them. I mean, look at these guys, and they're going after this poor defenseless girl. They're shooting at her, and when Beastman goes up and starts tearing all the ribbons on the stage, and he's, you know, casting shadow and credit to Courtney Cox. I don't like to give her credit for much because I'm not I can't stand the show Friends.
Tyler loves Friends. Don't let him fool you.
But
I can start humming the theme song and Tyler can take it away and he knows the rest of it. I know he knows the rest of it. Yeah.
Macarena song stuck in my head last night. Now you got to throw that one in too.
Oh man, the fucking Macarena. Ugh, what a terrible time for music. Anyway.
Credit to Courtney Cox of selling her fear throughout that entire sequence. I remember that was one of the things Nathan told me when I watched part with him, is that when she's running and screaming and runs into Dolph, he goes, "Oh man, that was pretty cheesy." And I just wanted to just put all my fists and just slam it across.
That was a long time ago.
I know. I felt the time, you know, and just have him knocked out cold, and then just take his remote and just continue watching the movie while he's knocked out cold and get the hell out of there. But that there's a lot of selling going on to show that this poor girl is scared out of her mind. And why wouldn't she be? You know, and it's because the makeup looks so great. These guys look like they probably would kill her. You know, the minute they got anything from her or realized she said, "I don't know what you're talking about," Carl would have instructed Beastman to probably cut her and, you know, and kind of, you know, cause some interrogation torture, and then instruct Beastman to probably tear her throat out. You know,
because that's a frightening thing. If you would have seen that in real life, I mean, I probably would have shit my pants if I seen somebody that looked like Beastman, a real person look like that. Yeah, I mean, just a quick side.
Underneath the stage, and you got Beastman screaming at you, and cars coming at you saying, "I've got you, pretty," and
that would be
stage. I mean, it's a wonder that after all this, that the Julie character probably wouldn't be, you know, have to have a lot of therapy done after all this, because just that one night alone, you know, you got a guy with an eye patch who's master swords slamming them down in front of your face. Could have impaled both of her hands, or, you know, or could have killed her. I mean, right there on the spot. You know, so I just
you picture if they made that. What if they did turn? What if we got the movie rights? Just picture that, the Beast Man in action figure form. That would be the scariest looking version of him, I think, ever in figure form. When you think about it,
Nathan would be like, "I ain't buying that. I am so much better than that figure." I mean,
right? Or like Kevin Sharp said in the chat room, he says he's going to catch hell. But Kevin Sharp said Beastman looked like they reused a Klingon outfit from Star Trek.
All right, Kevin, you lost some business there, buddy.
Okay. And one thing,
I will never.
I'm going to agree.
artwork from you ever again because of that.
He's like, that's it, no more commissions. Because Kevin, I'm going to agree with you on one thing you just said right now. And this, I actually did have this thought. He said Karg honestly thought it was a critter, not ragging on it. He says he looked like a critter. I could see that in the face. I know exactly what you mean. Karg does have a critter face, so I don't know if that's going to piss Tyler off too. But Kevin, you might be just shooting your business way down with Tyler. I was like, that's it, I'm done.
I will say, like, Karg looked the scariest at the beginning of the movie when him and the robot troops burst into Grildo's house, and you see that close. It almost looks like he's got blood in his mouth when he's saying, "Find the key, tear this place apart." Like, oh my god! It's like, as a kid, I'm like, what? Who is that? I just found him very frightening, and his voice was very frightening as well. Of course, throughout the movie too, there were moments where I thought he was scary, and then other times it just felt like, man, this, like, he's just so irritating because I knew he's the butt kisser throughout the film. And that's what makes him such a great, memorable character as an adult. I'm like, this is the guy that constantly wants to be validated as a top tier henchman for Skeletor. Like, there's moments, like when they're tearing apart Julie's house and he finds the newspaper clipping of her parents. He goes over to Evil-Lyn and tells her who it is, and he has this look on his face and shakes his fist like, that's right, man. I got brownie points. And then he goes out to try and get it from Blade, and Blade just looks at him and then just jerks the paper clipping away from him as if like, get the hell out of here. Like, just there's this kind of, banter between the Evil Warriors that he so wants the approval of Skeletor and Evil, and he'll do whatever it takes to get their approval. But amongst it, Blade will listen to him, but I also feel like Blade kind of dismisses him, like, dude, you're nothing. You are strictly here because you love to, you love to like kiss up to Skeletor and Evil-Lyn. Because you desperately want to be the man in charge as well. Because when they're in the gym, he's bossing Beastman around, practically kicking him around, and he is calling the shots because he is put in charge. But he's someone, he clearly comes off as someone who relishes the idea of like, I'm in charge. I'm the top guy.
Well, yeah, it's like when Beastman gets that ammonia thrown on his face, and he's just like, "Come on, get up. We gotta go."
Yeah.
It's
moments like that. And I appreciate that. It's stuff like that that people, I feel like you're missing the point. You're not seeing the big picture here. And I'm not telling people they don't have the right to dislike this film. You clearly don't like, and you are fixated on it has to be Filmation, or it has to look like the vintage toys, or it has to look like this, and you're like, I will settle for, all right, fine.
But if Tyler is buying artwork from you and you don't like a specific thing, you're cut off.
You're done, man. You are done, Kevin.
He flips the table. It
will never work again in this town.
He has his end of the podcast. Like, this is over. Podcast over. He does his Joe moment.
Over. I have to leave. I take down all my artwork of Kevin. It becomes fire kindling tonight.
What you just said there, Tyler, within kind of making sense. You just said, some may be expecting Filmation, some expecting the toys or something else. You just said it. Think about Masters of the Universe. It's always been different. From the toys to the mini comics to the cartoon to the golden books, any other type of literature, any other type of stories.
There's so many incarnations.
It's all different. Yeah.
And yet everybody, even your most vague, basic, substandard, casual He-Man fan, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but the guy who just, very, very casually remembers He-Man and goes to his local Hot Topic or Spencer's or buys a T-shirt online because it's in the clearance sale. I remember that. Yeah, I'll buy that. It's a guy He-Man. It says "Sup, bro," or it says "Come at me, bro," or "Got powers," or "Chicks dig me," or some lame ass slogan on there or something like that. And that's all you remember. And yet you watch the He-Man movie and you're like, man, the movie's it's kind of dumb. Okay, you probably, I feel like. You know what? If you don't like the Transformer films, which I think they're abysmal and abominations, every copy should be burned. If I feel like if you're going to sit there and say the Transformers movie sucked because Wheeljack wasn't in the first film, I feel like that's it. Like that's your only reason for just yes, the movie's terrible, but no, Wheeljack being in the movie would not have made it any better, or actually having a legitimate version of Starscream or Devastator or Soundwave. No, it still would have been terrible. So when these people come along and sit and trash the 87 movie because Orko wasn't in it, it wasn't more on Eternia. Battle Guy wasn't in it because Battle Guy makes the story. Orko clearly would have made the story so much better because if Orko went in, they wouldn't have gone to Earth, or we would have gotten Cobra Khan instead of Karg. We've got to gotten Triclops instead of Blade. Who knows what the hell they're thinking? but it makes no sense. And that's why I call out everybody who takes the time to go on YouTube for someone who said, you know what, I found this really cool TV spot of the live action.
Wait. Is there a lot of this on YouTube of people just trashing the movie? Because I maybe I just haven't sought it out, but I've never really, other than like that Canon documentary or people like Nostalgia Critic or whatever. Aside from that, are there a lot of random people just?
There is. When I said there is a video of a guy putting like a 15-minute video of how not to start a movie franchise and decides to focus on the live action movie. That is an actual video, and I don't want people to go check it out and give that moron views. I'm just saying that
Link in the description below.
Yeah. But yeah, people like him or like the Nostalgia Critic whose shtick is like, oh, it's so lame. Isn't it right, people? I know shit about He-Man. I had no tolerance for that kind of stuff because I feel like, I don't expect everybody to, be as well versed in this mythology. I want people to watch this film and realize what they got right. Because look, as I've said on Fans of Power, which is if you have never watched Fans of Power, it's a Joe podcast that me and Joe did all about He-Man stuff like that.
I'll put a link to it.
Okay.
I'll put a link to the audio. I'll add that.
It's the movie got all the essentials of what you'd expect in He-Man. We've got the Sorceress, we've got Grayskull, we've got Skeletor, Evelyn, Beastman, Man of Steel, He-Man. Every generic item of merchandise that you can find of He-Man has got those essentials on a T-shirt, on a modern day lunchbox or paraphernalia or memorabilia. It's using He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms on a T-shirt, or Skeletor, Evelyn, Beastman on a T-shirt, or Castle Grayskull on a T-shirt. Nathan is wearing a Castle Grayskull shirt. So look, the movie has done everything right. And like Joe has said, we all get excited over seeing new characters in the store. So when we get other characters with Beastman, which means more figures, which we got Sora and Blade. Unfortunately, we never got Karg for mysterious reasons. It's like they did everything that we would have expected. We got the characters we come to know. We got Grayskull. We got the Power Sword. We didn't get a transformation sequence, but it's not relevant to the story. It wouldn't have. I feel like it's not needed in the story we're trying to tell. The story that was greenlit, it doesn't appear that there was ever really a transformation sequence in that anyway. I can't find a reason that you would need it unless you're gonna have Adam dress up incognito and decide to infiltrate certain places.
Which I mean, like you think about what they were trying to.
I mean, because look, there's no getting around this. They were going to go to Earth from the get-go for budget reasons and stuff like that. That there was no changing about that. When the movie is in pre-production and they're doing concept drawings, it is on Earth for a good part of the movie. So you can't sit there and say, "But more returning." Look, they weren't going to do it because of the budget. So let me hammer that head off.
All right. Let me pose this question to you then. If this movie never existed, and they were like, "All right, we're gonna do a Masters film," and this is what got released, and you saw it at your age now today, how would you feel about it? Do you think you would still feel the same way about it at all? Like if it was exactly the same, maybe a few changes with maybe Dolph isn't He-Man, but let's just say for instance he was, and I don't know, or we go back to 87, but you're an older, well-established fan of Masters, but you're the age that you are now, and it's some time has passed. Would you still feel the same way about it?
Yeah, because as an adult, I see even deeper into the stuff that we got more than I did as a kid. As a kid, I'm seeing, the basics. I'm seeing good guys getting away from the bad guys, trying to get the cosmic key. Skeletor's angry. I'm seeing all the basics, but as an adult, even as a teenager too, I'm looking at a lot more differently. I'm listening to the dialogue a little bit more clearly. I'm observing things like, oh wow. Like you really take time to observe the matte paintings that are used to expand Grayskull. And you look down just how far down Grayskull goes, like all the stuff that goes down there. And like with our interview with William Stout, available on Fans of Power podcast. We did 2 interviews with him.
Yeah, give me the episode numbers when we're done, and I'll put those in the link too, so people can go back and watch or listen.
Okay. But when you look at that, and then you hear what William told us, that he designed that certain levels are more evil, certain levels are more good. and that we were supposed to have gotten this long, massive sword fight between He-Man and Skeletor going up and down the stairways all over the lower levels of Grayskull. So when you see that opening shot, when Grayskull enters the throne room to sit on the throne, you see just how massive Grayskull is. And that's what I love about matte paintings. Details expand that scale of the universe. To me, those go a long way, and I appreciate the details that are given to really give you a lot more bang for your buck. And you see just how far down that goes. That there are troopers down there on multiple levels, all down there. And just to see what all is down there. It's fascinating to know that. And knowing that it was designed, that there were staircases on that set that were supposed to be used for the big sword fight. And it's been documented openly there was supposed to be a much longer sword fight. So when you hear that, you're like, oh, man, I don't focus on, oh, man, worst movie ever because we didn't get it. It just makes you appreciate so much more, what that would have looked like. What it would have looked like that Anthony DeLongis, who played Blade in the Skeletor double in the God suit, and at the very end of the film, too, what that sword fight would have looked like as they're fencing up and down all over the place. I mean, just so many close calls. Because it was just because there's so many edges within the Grayskull throne room. Troops are going over the sides, and He-Man's throwing them all over the place. They're being shot and falling. It adds an epic, so many more levels of epic to me. I mean, it's a simple statement, but that's what it does. It adds so much more attention to details that people are you looking at this film, or are you just looking for some reason to sit there and say, I'm just like everybody else?
I'm telling you, man, like if you go into something wanting to nitpick it, you're going to nitpick stuff. If someone's put it and planted it into your head before you've seen it, that, hey, this might be kind of cheesy and bring up this and this, then they're going to go into it wanting to find those flaws and be like, you know what? Yeah, they were right.
That's why I feel like, Nate, and that's what I feel like happens a lot with social media, especially on YouTube. If you look up any kind of things on YouTube, whether it's the trailers or people who post clips of the film, or they found trailer or like old TV spots or interviews or whatever the case it is, go through the list. You will find, fortunately now, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I remember this was cool. I remember this. Oh, I remember that." But you still are going to find an abundance of people who are looking to trash the film.
I think people are starting to come around to it.
They
honestly.
I think in recent years, yes, because
once the Blu-ray came out, I started reading some of the Blu-ray reviews, and they were saying, yeah, it's got its problems in regards to, characters missing, what have you. But if you look at it for what it is, it's just a hell of a lot of fun.
It is.
I mean, it's go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say, I've noticed that in the Masters community, all these Facebook groups that I'm in, I've noticed people are coming along. Now, again, if there's people that still don't like it, okay, you still don't like it. But a lot of the people that I noticed that were still trashing the movie, they said, I haven't seen it since it came out back then. And that's when I told them, I was like, give it a shot. Like, I would personally, with a lot of them being my friends saying this, I was like, trust me, just give it another shot. And especially now knowing of all the budget, all the issues that they had when making the movie. But I said, but still, watch it again. I said, it's a good movie. And almost I'd say over 80% of the people that I spoke with when they would watch it now, they said that actually was pretty good. There were still some that would say, I still didn't really like it, for whatever reasons. But more and more people are coming along saying, you know what, that was a damn good movie. I used to judge it from my childhood eyes, and they haven't seen it since their childhood. But also seeing, like, when I did polls in, I couldn't remember, Tyler, because I remember you seeing when I posted like maybe 3 or 4 groups, I was saying, what would you like to see made by Super 7 and Classics forums more? Do you want more Filmation characters, MYP, She-Ra, Masters of the Universe movie? In every one of those groups, the top choice of that poll, everybody was saying they wanted Masters of the Universe movie figures in Classics forums. Like,
well, I mean, you got to think about it. They, other than Saurod and Blade and Gwildor, everyone else that haven't come out with. So yeah.
Because because I can't, at least now with all this crazy movie rights and stuff. But if given the chance, they want to see them in action figure form, from the Beastman to Karg, even Lubick. There's great fans of Lupic, people want to joke him, but still, cool ass new character. But then the different forms of He-Man, Skeletor, God Skeletor, like that's always usually a top. People just can envision this shiny gold outfit that Skeletor would be in. I mean, God, would that be awesome as hell. But I love seeing that. I love seeing that now in the Masters of the Universe community, this movie is being embraced more and more of loving the movie and wanting figures of it. But I love the change that's occurred. It's not as negative. It used to have a lot of negativity, which Tyler would know more of because he was on the internet obviously before me, and he would tell me about in the groups or on the pages where people weren't a fan of that movie, but that's before I came online to experience it.
I think that happens a lot. Like over the course of time, if people think that things are bad, over time they go back and rewatch and they're like, wow, this movie to me is sort of the definition of a grower. You might not love it the first time you watch it, but if you go back and watch it again, you start to appreciate it a little more and a little more. And as I started to learn out the history of everything and how shit went down, then yeah, like for what they had and what they had to work with, it turned out really well. And I don't know why I ever felt the way that I did before. So Tyler, I'm sorry. All those, honestly, I think part of it is when Tyler gets really, really excited about things. Like he ruined the first Expendables for me when we went and saw it in theaters because he was so like excited. So like anytime anyone said anything, he's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm just sitting there like, "Oh my god." So maybe that was
ruined it for you.
Maybe Tyler hyped it up so much for me that when I went and watched it, I'm just like, "What? I don't."
What did you wait? Oh, wait, real quick. I mean, he hyped it up a lot and was excited when they said dialogue, but I mean, you're saying he hyped it so much you didn't like it? I didn't quite get what you meant about that.
No, I'm saying like that sometimes when he's so excited about something, it kind of, I'm just like, oh god, like it makes it seem like it's not as great as he's saying that it is, if that makes sense. Like when we're sitting there watching Expendables, like Dolph Lundgren said something and he was just like audibly in the theater, he was like, "Oh yeah," and I'm just like, oh god. And he was just sitting there like his nipples were hard and like his erect dick's just like smacking the seat over and over in front of him. And I'm just like, man, like, come on, calm down a little bit. It's not that good. And then when it ended, he was like, "Man, wasn't that awesome?" I was like, it was okay. And he's like, "What?" And then he got mad at me for it.
I've since calmed down and changed my views on the Expendables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, time can change opinions.
Yes.
From good to bad, bad to good. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and it just gets better with age, and sometimes you know what, it wasn't that good. Looking back at it, that's why I went back to watching the classic films, and I really visit those films anymore. But
he was almost like sitting beside me and just shaking me, like, "Isn't this great?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's not as great as you think it is." And he's just like, "No, it's awesome." I'm like, "Okay, man. Okay."
I like the first one. The second one was but the third one, God, I hate the
third one was the drizzling shits.
Yeah, the second one was great, but it's still not a film that I revisit a great deal anymore. It's more fun to watch like the end battle and everything that Van Damme's in because he steals the scene in every scene.
Except these damn Tostitos commercials. What the hell is he doing in a Tostitos commercial?
Hey, I'd rather see him in a stupid Geico commercial, a Progressive commercial, where you can't do a split, but you can save money on Geico. And then I wanted to throw a brick to the screen because I'm sick and tired of seeing every. It's like that's the only thing popular in our culture today is car insurance.
And it's like he's almost
buying groceries. We're not buying anything else. We are strictly buying car insurance because that's the only thing they advertise. That and Heineken. But anyway,
the Tostitos one, like I said, that thing really loses me because it's like he's almost insulting himself. Like, "Don't get Van Damme," like it's a bad thing. I'm like, why are you making fun of yourself in this commercial? I don't get it.
They're paying him enough that it doesn't matter,
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather see that than another really bad straight to video, movie that he does where you just don't want to give it a shot because it's not going to be good and it's nothing on the same level as those 90s Van Damme films.
Speaking of straight to video, Joe, did you Redbox that Escape Plan 2 with Stallone and Batista?
I'm sorry, what was that? What movie?
They came out with a sequel to Escape Plan. That Stallone Arnold film. They came out with a sequel that's got Stallone and Batista
Oh God, are you kidding? Wait, they went straight to DVD. I mean,
Well,
oh,
I mean, it did here. It played theatrically in China because the first movie did so well there, and now it's kind of a thing where the Chinese movie market has sort of grown a lot. So they're starting to more and more movies are
yeah, because
starting to.
I never heard of it. I was like, I didn't hear of this movie. It was, I mean, was it in U.S. theaters too, or
No, it just I think it came out last week
oh,
to
did you see
stores
it?
and like Redbox. I have yet to rent it, but it got me thinking how we both rented Tomb Raider last week. If maybe you would pop by and
Oh
rent it.
no, I didn't even know what you're talking about. I didn't know that, and for Stallone to be in that, and it's straight to
Well, that's
Red.
the thing too. I don't think that he is in it that much. It's just one of those almost probably like cameos sort of. He's
Uh,
probably in it probably a good 15, 20 minutes max from what
probably
I hear.
mainly it's probably for just Batista. Then is that what you're
I
saying?
guess. I don't know.
Oh God, how
But
did we? Isn't that crazy? See, that's what we do, guys. For people that are new to Beyond Retro, this is what happens. We usually have our sidetracking moment where it's nothing to do with what we talk about, but we haven't really did it much on this because we've been so hyped up into this
That
master
felt
thing.
completely shoehorned in. Like Nathan felt probably we need to get that random Randy here when there was no real. It was just like just shove it in there. I'm like,
no, you were bringing up how you would rather Van Damme be in these commercials than do another straight to video thing. And it got me thinking that came straight to video.
I just
That still ties in. Whatever.
There you go. But
I'm on such a high talking about this film. Like, I don't want to talk about anything else right now.
no, so I'm saying for anybody that's watching us now that haven't watched that movie years for the Masters of the Universe movies, or if you're listening to us, on iTunes and Podbean or whatever, I'm telling you, you have to give this movie another chance. If you've really been on the fence thinking, God, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, I don't know if I should, do it. You'll be surprised. You'll really enjoy it a lot more. I mean, I'm hoping you would. If you still don't like it, then what the hell? You still don't like it. But I'm
Well,
saying, don't
it's
judge
on
it.
it's
Yeah.
on Hulu right now. So it was new to Hulu this month. They put it on there. So go ahead and go to Hulu and check it out. That's how I rewatched it again last night and this morning. I had to kind of split it in half, but
I was gonna say,
two-part.
why?
huh?
Did you watch the movie twice? I was like, bravo, man.
No. I'm not I don't know. I don't really do that anymore. Like I remember getting a movie on DVD or renting a movie and watching it multiple times in a short span, a couple days over the weekend. I don't do that anymore. I'll watch a movie and I'm like, okay, and then I'll go back and watch it years later, a few months down the road if I've liked it a lot. But I don't do that much anymore. Even with films I really do enjoy, I just go back to them on occasion. Tyler, would you kind of just rewatch it again? Well, we're talking about this movie, so that doesn't really work because you would just go watch it now and then watch it tomorrow.
Oh, I mean, I had this movie. I'll listen to when I'm at the gym. I mean, it's a movie. I've got it on VHS. I've got 2 copies on DVD. I've got it on Blu-ray. I've got.
Oh yeah, I remember that because the initial DVD release was the snapper case, and then they came out with it again, but it was in the actual real case and not those shitty snappers. So you bought it again, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's in a different case, man. You got to buy it. You got to support the film." And I was like, "Okay."
Bought a second copy of the snap case because somehow my disc got scratched.
Ah,
and that's why I went and bought another snap case. So I've got 2 copies of the snap case, and I was just happy with that. Like, yeah, I was half tempted to buy the regular case, but I'm like, you know what, I don't really need to. But it's a film I've just gone back and rewatched over and over and over again. It's like I said, I don't feel like, and people do, I feel like there's a lot more great things in it than just Frank Langella's performance. Like, yes, that steals the movie. I'm not going to deny that. But there's so many other great things that I feel like, can't you think of something else more positive to say than, oh, I like Frank Skeletor. I have a pretty good. I'm like, yes, that was great. But there's so many other great things in there. People are knocking Dolph unnecessarily, or they don't say anything positive about the Evil Warriors, or the fact that Billy Barty does a great job as Gwildor, this new Thenorian character. The Cosmic Key itself is a fantastic plot device. It looks awesome, and the music that comes out of it and how it works, the portal special effects, all that stuff. Teela is portrayed very prominent, just like the Filmation cartoon. She's a hot-headed warrior that feels like she can hang with the boys. She's just as good as any man, and it shows in the movie. But she's hot, quick to temper, very, 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 quick to grab a hold of somebody and get in their face about it, or say, no, 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 we have to do this. It's, and I appreciate that. I've ranted and raved about how Taylor's portrayed, but I love it a lot in this film because Chelsea feels, oh man,
She's hot.
Still is.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and it's just. And
oh, what would Tyler have done if he like, nah, she's not that hot? He probably would have just been like, guys, I got to be right back, and driven the 10 minutes over here, kick down the door, be like, dogs, you got to go outside, and then he'd like kick my ass live on the podcast.
Right here, live on the podcast, right for everybody to see. I just would just kicked his door open right there, just grabbed a hold, jerked him out of his chair, and he's just laughing.
I'd be like, no, man, the Cosmic Key is a great synthesizer.
So, but and not only like the characters, but great scenes. There's a lot of good feel good moments in the movie, a lot of great exciting moments in the movie, moments of tension and great build up, and the situations that the characters find themselves in. I feel like people aren't breaking down this film, and some people are like, man, dude, how do you like this movie so much from 1987? It's a Cannon film, because I appreciate what when we had Anthony DeLongis on, and I pointed out the moment, like certain moments he did in the film when he's holding the power sword, when he turns to the camera and he's looking at the sorceress and holds the power sword up to her, and then kind of makes this sneer, like mocking manner, like we have the most prized possession of Grayskull, and mocks her with it. That was all him. Or when He-Man surrenders the power sword after Skeletor gives him an ultimatum. Blade kneels down and picks the sword up and is looking at it like, oh my God, I've got the sword of Grayskull in hand. And then he holds it up and kind of clenches his fist around the hilt and smiles at Skeletor like, we've got it. We've got the ultimate prize and He-Man. Moments like that, I'm like, that there's so many more details in this film and people not, if they are, let everyone know about it. Stop holding yourself and being vocal like Kevin Sharp. Like, I thought it was pretty stupid. It's there's and of course the last 15-20 minutes of the film when He-Man is captured and brought back to Grayskull, and now Skeletor really gets to relish in the fact that I've taken out your friends. They're left on planet Earth. There's no one else that can save Eternia. Grayskull is mine. I've got you in hand. I've got your sword. The sorceress is dying. I've got the ultimate weapon in the Cosmic Key here. And now I'm going to unleash the power of Grayskull through the Eye of Eternia and become a god. Like, the guy is just everything from the dialogue. And Dolph does a great job of selling it. Like, he's, like when he looks at the sorceress, he almost looks kind of ashamed that I've returned to Grayskull. I have my harness, my cape, my sword, everything's gone. I'm a broken fighter right here. And she's dying and just looking down like she kind of feels bad for him. And Skeletor just relishing this. When he comes marching in, they all just look so proud, like they come into Grayskull so victorious, because they are. It is the ultimate victory. And just continues to belittle He-Man and tells him, you will kneel before me, and then whipping He-Man into submission. And He-Man is still standing there strong, his lips bleeding. He's sweating from all the beatings that Blade's given to him, and he's still just staring down Skeletor. I mean, just muscles flex, like, you're not going to break me. And Skeletor's sitting there holding onto the Havoc staff, and he's shaking because it's intoxicating.
You don't have to go watch it on Hulu. Tyler's just going to act out the last half of the film right here.
They're eating popcorn, watching them right now. They're like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, I'll do a great I'll do my interpretations of Kevin and Julie in the car when she clearly is like, I don't want to be with you anymore because she brought fried chicken. He's like, that's not very romantic for a last day. He's like, oh man,
well,
because it wouldn't be.
Well, one scene that did stick out to me again rewatching it is when Julie thinks that she sees her mom and she's touching her mom, and she goes and grabs the key, and just the look on her face, and when she screams when she finds out what happens, like you brought up earlier, that when she was screaming, like, very believable. So kudos to her for fantastic acting. Now,
as a kid,
well, I was gonna say, do you know, because you've talked to a couple of people that worked on the movie, but let's look at some of the higher up people. Like Frank Langella has stated that this was one of his favorite roles, correct?
Yes.
And Dolph has sort of denounced it in a way. He kind of looks down on it. Do we know how Courtney Cox feels about the movie at all?
It's hard. I've never really heard her mention it. I mean, probably the closest thing is that Christina Pickles, who plays the sorceress, I think showed up on Friends. I only know that because of doing research for the film. You find out, I'm like, oh, okay. So they showed up on Friends, so maybe they reminisced about it. I have no idea what she thinks because I've never really thought to seek out to see if she acknowledges the film or what. And yeah, like Dolph just kind of, almost sounded like he was embarrassed to be playing a toy. I'm like, dude, you were He-Man. You were the definitive, male figure, especially for boys. You're like, you are what, and me as a kid, that's what I want to look like. That's what I want to be, along with Arnold and Stallone and Rambo and Arnold and Predator. I mean, that was like the epitome of what I have always wanted to be like, was to look like He-Man. And it always was kind of sad to me to hear Dolph be very dismissive about it or talk as if like when it's brought up that people are just going to make fun of him for it, almost as if like he's kind of gearing up to make fun of it because the casual disc jockey that has him on his radio show or the documentarian that's going to interview him about the movie, he's anticipating they're going to make fun of the film. So therefore he makes fun of it as well. And I almost feel like there's a part of him that's kind of coming around and showing that, no, people liked your portrayal as He-Man, dude. To me, I don't think it's going to get any better. There's always room for improvement on so many things, but I really feel like in this day and age, they don't build action heroes the way they did back in the 80s. And Dolph is about as definitive as you're going to get for being the most powerful man in the universe. Guys today and actors today, they're small guys. You got a few working today like The Rock that are pretty good size, but for the most part, you're not going to get someone that's going to look like what you see, in the exploding red rock packaging or in the beautiful Earl Norton paintings or in this Drew Struzan painting behind me here. Hollywood doesn't breed him anymore. So I really feel like he's never given enough credit. Anytime you hear Mattel execs talk about it, like, oh, I couldn't understand what he was saying. Of course, there were so many things as a kid I didn't understand what people were saying. Not just him. I'm talking like Man-at-Arms or Skeletor. I'm like, because you're 3 or 4 years old. Like, what did they say? Because I only know so much vocabulary as a child.
Tyler was a dumb kid.
Yeah, I was just I only owned the Beastman scary and Blaze got sore. I had the brain of an ice cube as a kid there, to quote last week. But I'm very thankful, that Nathan's come around and Joe, as long as I've known him, has loved the film and has told me about, how dumb he was as a kid for thinking it was so silly and blasphemous. And I wouldn't have wanted to be his friend on the playground. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I just remember the one other reason, you're speaking of Dolph Lundgren and his portrayal of He-Man.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing. I did. I hated him. No, I did. I hated him because of killing Apollo in Rocky IV. And that's what drove me nuts was he's Ivan Drago, and he's this evil guy. He's the bad guy, and he killed Apollo, and I hated him because I was so into that damn Rocky series. You got to be where I was growing up, but no, so I hate him. But so then I see he's He-Man, I was like, well, that's Drago. I was like, oh man, this is gonna suck. So I was first seeing him, I was like, I don't like him. But then I was like, okay, well at least now I do like him, and he should be thankful because if he never played the role of He-Man, I probably still would have hated him. It's like, that's Drago. But now it's like, wait a second, it's He-Man. I like the guy. So he actually made me, I guess, like his character in real life. Was just that. But yeah, that was one thing, was just his portrayal of being the bad guy in Rocky IV. And
I can't wait until the new Masters finally gets off the ground and it's actually in production and it's done and it's in the can.
We're not doing that. Just to let you know, you're not going to bait me and Tyler. We're not going to bite it. We've done it so much.
I can't wait opening night when it finally comes out. And
oh yeah, when they're supposed to start filming back in April. Oh man, I can't wait for the film.
It's gonna happen eventually. I know that it will. They're not just gonna let it fall off.
Tank all the Spider-Man movies they came with a Black Cat Silver Surfer movie, and they're that so wonderful look.
This podcast is over.
Focus on box Spider-Man. They don't have time to botch He-Man.
No, man. Oh, man. Oh.
So
All right, all right. I'll ask this then. I know you guys have probably already talked this to death as well, but who would you cast as He-Man? Who would be your guy?
I'd like an unknown. I don't want to have some actor that we always have preconceived notions of. Somebody that, we think, oh God, we should get the guy that played Thor. We should get this wrestler. We should get no. I don't want anybody. I love complete unknowns. That's what makes a lot of movies great. Is because you're not seeing this person as this character they've already played. Just have it be a fresh new face, somebody that can fit the role, a big buff guy. It's He-Man, for God's sake. So yes, it's got to be a pretty damn good developed guy, not somebody that's kind of slim, 170 pounds, and is cut. No, the dude's got to be big. It's got to be a big guy. But as for who I'd want, no, I don't know anybody, and I don't want.
I'm gonna cast Tyler. He is an unknown, and he's big. Tyler, you are He-Man.
Believe me. I would do that for free. No paycheck. I'd go on the craziest, most restricted diet I've ever been in my life. And they could bring in John Irwin to dub my voice.
But what if they said that Chris Pratt is going to play like Man-at-Arms or Chris Pratt is going to play Skeletor? Then what?
Why would you do that to Tyler? Don't do this. Don't turn it into a rant. You know
it's a real hypothetical situation.
I will say this. I will make sure that even more than being on the crazy diet and changing up a workout routine, I will do whatever I can to make sure my performance as He-Man outshines anything that guy would bring to the film to try and say, I can't do this movie unless I do the Chris Pratt thing. How many sexual innuendo jokes can I
I don't get the thing with the sexual innuendo jokes. Like, what am I missing here? Was there something in Avengers that he said that was like one line or something? Like, where are you pulling this out of your ass, man?
Oh, no, I'm pulling it from Jurassic World when I had to see that.
See, I've pretty much like blocked out most of that. Well, there's like one or two scenes in that film. I'm like, yeah, okay, but
just the fact that everything he does is juvenile humor. Ball sacks.
That's not his fault. Those are the people writing the thing.
Well, I'm sure he's got a big part of that because I'm sure they're adapting to his. But regardless, if for some reason they decide to shoehorn him for star power, I'd make sure that I'm doing whatever I can. Like in some movies where they feel like that actor's going to outshine me on the film, that's what I would be aiming to do. I'd be working with an acting coach 24/7. I'd be in the gym. I mean, if I wasn't working with the acting coach, I'd be in the gym. If I'm not in the gym or other, I'm on the set learning how to be a better actor. I'm being like Arnold on Predator. Like he's trying to be a better actor. So you watch Carl Weathers. That's what I would do. I'd be asking questions. I'd be doing everything I could to possibly be the definitive He-Man. Whatever it had to be, I'd be constantly looking to make sure that something like that, bad comedy, does not put a bad taste in the mouths of the fans that want to see a good sword and sorcery / science fiction film that we've all wanted to see. I mean, it would become a obsession would be putting it too lightly to make sure that it would be the best that it could be.
Oh,
pretty much everybody in the chat room pretty much said the same thing. They would like an unknown person cast as He-Man as well. So yeah,
Tyler as He-Man. Let's start campaigning now. If they go for a longer haired look, are you willing to have? Because I can't picture you with long hair at all. There was that time before I knew him. And, maybe I'll have to go get the yearbooks and like take pictures of them and we can post them on the Beyond Retro Facebook page. But he did have like this
bowl cut.
I don't think, it was like long. It was about down to like right here. He had it kind of like parted a little bit. If any of you guys can imagine him like that, that's.
Yeah. It's, I did have a blonde mullet as a kid. So people say the Dolph mullet, which to me, I'm like, it's long hair. It's not a mullet. It's like people don't know what a mullet is. They think long hair in the 80s. Oh, you got a mullet. Like, no, that's not a mullet.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing with my mask. I'd have the long hair over the front here and off to the sides when I would be out in public, going across the mouth and everything. But then I just cut it all off. So I was pretty close to being the same way.
Yeah, weird. But I'd be down to do that. Absolutely. I work with hair extensions or a wig of some kind or whatever. I would do it, and I do it for free.
Yeah, my question is Kevin Sharp, is he going to get any kind of shout outs and promotions for his art at the end of this podcast or tonight during Fans of Power? Or is he axed out for what he said earlier?
if he repents his sins and decides to do a free commission of Beastman, like growling and looking as vicious as possible, and gives it to me and a written apology as well.
Yeah, that's it.
I will promote his artwork on here and the Fans of Power.
Otherwise, he's done. He's done. That's it. It's like no more.
He already said no. Your offer's been rejected.
Well, I guess Kevin, I think we're at a crossroads here.
we just had a horrible things happened here live on Beyond Retro. But damn it, see what happens, Kevin? That's what happens when you go ahead and you're dissing the movie and you're seeing horrible things.
This is what happens when you disagree with Tyler Baker.
Yeah.
You get ostracized and you're cast away, just like Tom Hanks and his volleyball.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I said that.
That's okay. That's fine. So, well, I mean, pretty much, I don't know how you wanted to wrap it up, but the clear consensus is, I mean, this is a fantastic movie. It got a lot of harsh criticism, and it gets a lot of criticism that's not really deserved by sometimes, like you said, from people who really don't remember the movie, have a fuzzy memory of it, maybe seen half of it. It reminds me of some of these people that do video game reviews. Like, there's the one guy that I think he's the angry Nintendo nerd. I forgot who he is.
Angry video game nerd.
Yeah. And he's done, like I said, cool videos. I like it. But then sometimes I notice he's done reviews of games. I'm like, did you play this game for more than 5 minutes to understand something? Because, like, one in particular was Alf on the Sega Master System. I mean, he butchered it. He talked about how bad it was. He's like, if you go into this cave, it's impossible to duck and get past these bats. It doesn't make sense. It's horrible. And, like, he kept showing them getting hit or dying and dying and dying. I was like, yeah, but if you played the game actually right from the beginning and you just opened the refrigerator right before you went downstairs, you got a salami. And then when you went to that cave, you swung the salami and killed all the bats. I'm like, anybody who played that game for 7 minutes would have found that out.
Well, I think he's even admitted that he has only played, like, there would be some games that he would not play very long and just write the material.
It's like, literally, what are you doing looking at for a second? So that's what I mean. There's these people that not only with games, but with movies, like, what kind of, actual research, not just research, but how much time did you put into it? Did you really watch the whole movie? Did you watch it a couple times? Did you watch half of it? Or are you going by old memories? That's what annoys me. So, no, people, you just give this movie another chance because, as you heard from all of us, it's great. I mean, obviously from two nutball fans like Tyler and myself, and from Nathan, who's not a Super Masters fan, but he's enjoyed it as well. It's like, give it another chance. This is a great movie, and it definitely aged well. It stands the test of time. It's not something that's harsh to look at the eyes or watching the acting or story. Everything about it works, and it deserves actually to be seen a lot more, and I think respected more.
And if you think that it doesn't, then don't draw any more pictures for Tyler. And look at it.
I somehow see it. It's like Kevin Sharp and Tyler Baker no longer on their friends list on Facebook. Like, it's just
no longer mutual friends when you go to either of their pages.
You don't buy artwork from this guy.
Yeah, spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
And hell, Who Dat Whale, just to let you know in the chat room, Who Dat Whale just said his 2-year-old seen it one time. He said he's hooked, loves it. See, there you go. Raise him young on it, Who Dat Whale. Get him right there.
The president of the United States, because he's already off to a bright future already, just because of that alone. That guarantees success in life.
That's right. Keep them on.
Father, you make it your sworn duty if you have children to show them the live-action He-Man movie, because it guarantees your children will grow up to be some of the most beloved and well-liked people that on this planet that you could possibly grow up because of showing them this wondrous masterpiece.
It's got its own wing in my own Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
there you go. So don't let people who think they're so sharp and witty about slamming Beastman.
Sharp and witty.
Wow, I see what you did there.
You see what I did there?
Welcome to the last episode of Beyond Retro.
Yeah.
No topping that.
Nope, that's it. So, how did you want to wrap it up there, Nathan?
Well, I was just gonna reiterate what you said, Joe. It's a grower. It's on Hulu, so go give it a chance. I think you'll like it, and if you don't, then Tyler would probably tell you to drink bleach or something. But
I'm sure if you don't like it, I'm sure you'll like the G.I. Joe movie by Stephen Sommers. Then
yep, that one was bad. That one. I mean, I could live with it. Tyler was sort of struggling the rest of the day, but
Struggling. I was struggling within the first 15 minutes of the film.
well, I was talking about when it was over and me and Keith were laughing at you, and you're just sitting there like
Well, that's
just
why you
super
guys
depressed.
didn't have to struggle with it, because you guys just got to laugh at me the whole time because how mad I was at the movie.
And I can't wait to go see the new Masters of the Universe film with Tyler opening night, 2023 or whenever it's going to come out.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, another 8 years. Yeah, another 8 years from now. We've been waiting long to happen.
But yeah, Tyler looked like he was about to.
All I'm going to say last is like, look, if you see this, don't succumb to the popular consensus that you just see by people who are not really. I mean, they're not ones to be. Make your own opinions about the film. Don't listen to what some goofball looking to get views on YouTube is telling you, because he's looking to make fun of it, and he's going to make fun of everything because that's what people do on YouTube. Then you got people like Oliver Harper who make good little retrospect documentaries about a film and praises it, and he's not even a hardcore He-Man fan, and it's a great little documentary they put together there. So don't let a lot of negativity sink your battleship. We're not speaking as blind He-Man fans here. It's a genuinely really, really good film. So make your own decisions. You can get it relatively cheap, probably on Amazon or any other place, or you can check it out on Hulu. There are people who posted the film in its entirety on YouTube. You have to kind of watch it like 10-minute segments, but you can watch it on YouTube right now if you really wanted to. You can rent it on iTunes. You can buy it on iTunes. Just go ahead and buy it because you're not going to want to give your money back. It's a fantastic film. But it really is. Don't let all this goofball negativity and people trying to be cute and funny to make a name for themselves ruin an opportunity to go back and give this film the shot that it deserves, because we're here to really accentuate that. There's a lot more to it than your very casual fans have to say about it. And if you're really going to sit there and say that the side characters in the cartoon destroy the film, then you have the brain of an ice cube. As an adult, Giannis, as an adult, not as a kid.
All right. Anyone got ideas for next week? Because it's already been brought up in the chat room. Anything yet? Or are we going to leave it as a surprise for everybody?
How about we just leave it as a surprise? Because we've been giving away, I think, both weeks. Yeah, we'll leave it as a surprise.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone that joined us in the chat. There's a lot of conversation going on today. Masters seems to bring out a lot of these guys out of the woodwork for our show. That's kind of why I wanted to do it too, is because I kind of wanted to hear more about it. I have admittedly not gone back and watched the interviews that you guys have done.
Of course.
With well,
he doesn't care.
At some point, to keep in the same subject, is doing a discussion on Filmation with Nathan, because Nathan has only watched some of the episodes, and I think at some point in the near future we ought to have Nathan watch a choice few episodes that we recommend.
That could be different, or he could even join us for live commentary. We could have him on live commentary one time.
Oh man, me on Fans of Power. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that would be a different thing. That'd be a twist.
Crossing over. Okay. I mean, that I'm down to do that.
Yeah. So
Sunday nights at 9. What am I doing? Sitting over there on the couch watching a bad movie. I think tonight I'm gonna rent. Oh, Tyler, you're gonna love it. I'm gonna have some drinks and I'm gonna rent that movie Blockers with John Cena. Look at him. Look at his face. Looks like he just smelled a really bad fart. Joe, what are you doing? Okay. Thanks for everyone that joined us in the chat today. If you are new to the channel and like what you heard, like what you've seen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that bell for the notifications. Click the description links. Man, I've already flubbed it. Clip. Wow.
Did you say clip? Wait, what?
No.
What's happening?
I said clip with a P. Make sure you click the links in the description below. There we go. We got the Facebook page down there, the audio archive for all of our previous episodes, and leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the Masters of the Universe live action film. Is it a movie that you had to come around to like I did? Did you love it immediately like these two guys? Or is it a film that you think is terrible, but at least list your reasons so Tyler can pop in and argue with you accordingly?
If you're going to dislike it, come up with something, you know, a little bit more with substance. Don't just be like everybody else and be lazy and just copy and paste what everybody else is saying.
Exactly. Oh, real quick. I want to thank everybody that joined us in the chat room. It was awesome having you. I hope I acknowledged everybody. If I missed somebody, I apologize. And also SSJ Mitz, he said you did say clit, so there you go.
There was a P there. It was a P.
I know. We're just giving you some crap. I know.
And it's not like I'm renting it and be like, oh man, I'm so excited to watch this. I'm like, tonight I just kind of want to get drunk and just watch something I know that's not really going to be any good.
But wouldn't you rather
John Cena movie? What would make you want to see a John Cena movie? God almighty.
I do. I told you I watched terrible things.
Well, at least get drunk and watch Rawhead Rex or something, but not a John Cena movie.
Well, I mean, there's still plenty of time left in the day.
Okay, whatever. Yeah. So thanks, guys. It was awesome. All of you joining us. Sorry we had to end on that sour ass note.
Oh, wait. And make sure you seek out Kevin Sharp's artwork. Just look him up on Facebook.
I would say that too. And also say Kevin is drawing a mean looking Sauron, an awesome looking Franklin Jella Skeletor. He's a He-Man fanatic. And if you like to have your own illustration of anybody from the live action film or the He-Man mythology or Thundercats, Kevin is available on Facebook. If you're in the chat room right now, contact him right now. Let him know that, hey, I want to see Blade fighting He-Man. I want to see Karg, running away from Orko. Whatever the case may be. He'll draw.
Or you could have Karg, or he could have Karg running from a whole group of critters rolling at him. So see, there you can put Karg with critters.
You can do that.
Anything.
We'll do whatever it is that you want done.
He'll be standing. Beastman will be standing side by side with some Klingons or something. But this is getting better and better. So whatever the hell you want, and you know what, Kevin could do it, and he'd make it look awesome.
I don't want to see Beastman hanging out with Klingon. I don't want to see that. Even if someone pays Kevin to do that, I don't want to see that.
I think I'm just gonna ask him to do it now, pay him the money, and then gift it to you around Christmas.
How nuts would that be? Could you imagine if you did as a secret gift? And you know what? Tyler would love the hell out of it. It would look, it'd look cool as hell. So that would be a funny ass Christmas gift.
Well, I know Nathan, he would fork over the money to Kevin to do that.
Actually, I got another idea too. I'd be like, Kevin, can you take Chris Pratt and make him He-Man, and have him like beating up Tyler? Or something, I don't know. Or no, Chris Pratt as He-Man, but his ball sack is out, because you say that a lot with Chris Pratt or something, and he's just like teabagging you. The show's gone off the rails.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week. You've been awesome. See ya.
Joe Tyler, it's been a pleasure. I will see you guys next week.
All right.
All right.